Good morning, fret friends. Now then, I don't get to do many basses, but I've got one in today, and this one is a little bit worse for wear. It doesn't look very happy at all, and I already know there's a pot loose, and I know the input jack is not working, and I don't know why, because I've just taken some bits off it. And it is, I don't know what model this is, no idea, but it's a Stagg bass. Now then, don't be put off by that. I've had one of these, I used to own one of these, and it was better, sounded a lot better than my bassist at the time, is BC Rich Warlock bass. It blew it out of the sky, so very nice thing. But like I say, it is worse for wear. It does need a good setup. The action is as high as a kite, so we're going to sort that out. I'm going to basically wire that pot up, wire that input jack back, and see if we can get any sound out of it. And if we can, I'm going to give it a good clean. I'm going to strip it, give it a good clean. I'm going to set it up properly and get it playing again. And it's going to be a standard 40 quid setup on this, I imagine, if I don't need to do any fret work. I'm reluctant to do any fret work on this anyway, being such a cheap bass. If it does have any high frets, I'm going to tap them back in with a hammer until they are more or less level. So there's going to be no extra expense on there. I don't see the point of throwing daft money at a bass like this. But again, once all set up properly, it will play really well and it will sound very nice. So I'm going to crack on, do some stuff, and I will come back and let you know. You'll see the updates for yourself. Stay tuned. So the bass is very, very dusty, and that's being polite. It is not, it certainly is a bit worse for wear, but we're not going to worry about that. I'm just going to move some screws out of the way, and I want to get this pot back in. So first things first, just going to flick this pot back in there. Input jack we're not too bothered about. Get the pot back in. There are no snap wires on the pot. It was just flapping about like a loosen. So we're gonna get the pot back in. Why is that? Oh, the pot is not very happy at all. That pot is bent. Okay, what we're going to do with the pot is we're going to try and save it. I've just noticed that the shaft on it is really bent. Now, I don't think I stocked these little pots. Let's have a look where we are. Oh, the shaft is, yeah, it's a little bit bent. That's because of this knob, I believe. That's because these knobs are going really tight. Right, there you go. So we're just going to bang that back in as it is. Oh, Stagg, you've got the wrong knobs on these pots. So we're going to put that back in, tighten it up, we'll get the knob back on, and we'll see no more about it. So bear with me a second, guys. Now, like I said, I used to have one of these basses. It was really good. I think I paid a lot for it, £30 or something. It's about the going rate for these used. I think they're brand new. They're about 135, 140 quid, brand new. So for that, you're not expecting too much, but it was a really nice bass. It sounded fabulous and played really well. Is the model number something like a B30 or a B130? I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to tighten. Let's tighten this knot. Spinning the that's definitely a lot tighter now. Okay, so that's on there. Maybe a 10. Let's have a look. They do tend to spin quite easily, these things, sometimes, so you've got to get a good purchase on there. End of the day, we just want it playing. Right, that's on there. That's pretty good. These are just a push on affair. Oh, they're not very good, are they? That is not the right pot, I don't think. The stem is too fat. Right, I'm going to offline a couple of minutes and I'll bring you back in shortly. I'm going to see what I can do with this because it's not brilliant. I wired up the bass, but it's still not working, and I do know why, but I'm just going to plug it in to show you. So I'm just going to bang on the clean channel. So we've got, and there we go. Then that pot is already bent anyway, but the reason I know why, I mean, I'll tell you why it's not working. This pot is knackered, and I'll show you it's knackered by, the stem comes off with it. These were different pots, so I'm going to replace the pots, all of them. I'm only going to charge him 20 quid including labour. I'm going to replace all the electrics in there. So I'm going to oik everything out, replace each pot. I think I've got some full size ones knocking about. I'm going to put some full size pots in there. Just need to copy the wiring diagram so I know where everything goes. So I'm going to make a diagram of that, and we'll replace the electrics and we'll set the base up and get it all going. So 60 quid, I can't say fairer than that. So I will be redoing all of the electrics. I don't have the pots I need in stock to do the wiring, bar one. So I've stuck one alpha full size pot in there. That's an audio for the tone. I'm using two B500s for the volume. So that's already in there. I've stripped all the wires I'm going to be reusing. That's one pickup, that's the other pickup, and everything else you see there will be a ground or earth wire. I've drawn myself a crude little diagram, as I always do, just so I know where everything goes, but it's a pretty straightforward diagram. I've also cleaned the base, that's why it looks really shiny. I've given it some carnauba wax just to clean it up a bit. Here's my very crude wiring diagram. Anything that's not marked up will be an earth wire, so I know where everything's going on there. I'm just going to tin all of these wires before I solder anything in, just so we've got a little bit of solder coating on everything. It'll make my job a lot easier later on when I get the pots. I've ordered them off eBay. They're going to take a few days to get. It says it's going to be a Wednesday or Thursday, so if that is true, we'll see by the end of the week. I'm just looking for something here. What have I done with those? I do have a helping hands type of soldering. Actually, I'll put it here. Right here, look. And I'm just going to chuck everything in there, wire tin these ends. And this side, I've got some solder, 60%, it's 40% lead, 60% tin, rosin core, it is 60/40. It's nice and thin, this, I think it's about half a mil. I could have done with some bigger stuff than that, but this will do. And I'm just going to tin all the wires, get a little bit of solder flowing on there, just so they're ready. And that's beautiful, that's that one done. Hopefully I don't solder it to the helping hands. So there you go, that's tinned, and we're going to do the same with all the rest of the wires. No great shakes, you can't even see what I'm doing from there, can you? You're miles away. I'll just tin all the wires ready for the new gear come in and get this pot in. Get everything wired to that pot. Like I say, pretty simple diagram. I also have a box of capacitors over there, which I'm going to need. Various sizes. 40. I've got 47s and 22s. I need a 47 for this actually. So this is going swimmingly. Nicely tinned, nicely tinned. So I'm going to crack on, get all this done. I'm going to put some wires in on this. I'll get the capacitor and the wiring done on this pot. And it's just a matter of waiting now. What I'll do is in the meantime, once I've done this with the wiring I can do, I will get the guitar cleaned up, get strings off, and we'll have a look at the neck. Moving on. I've absolutely doused this fingerboard in lemon oil, well, mineral oil, lemon oil to clean the fingerboard. This fingerboard is as bad as anyone I've ever as bad as any I've ever seen. It's coming, it's absolutely filthy. So I'm going to let that soak in a bit. It's going to lift all the grime. I'm going to have to rub it all off, maybe even have to scrape it all off. And it's going to be a nasty job. All the things I've done since you've been away is I've tightened up these tuners, I've cleaned the headstock, I've cleaned the top of the body, cleaned the pickups. I'm going to get these pickups out a little bit more. So as I can, I'm going to rub as much dust off as I can get. I don't want to undo these too much that they come off the springs, but so I'm going to get these a little bit higher up, just so I can get right in with this cloth and clean, because these were dusty all the way around. And I've given them a blow with some compressed air. Get as much crap from around them as I can. And now we're cleaning this guitar up, because it's going to look a lot better once it's cleaner. Like I said, I gave it a coating of carnauba wax earlier, just to get some of this crap up. It's going to look a lot better once it's done. I can even use a little bit of oil if I want, just to clean this area. It might even look like a new base once it's done, guys. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a carnauba wax treatment, because I've had this stuff for years and I've already used it. That's more than enough for that whole top there. What I tend to do is I tend to just smear it on and rub it off later. Let it dry in a little bit. I've probably got too much there, but you know. I've already done the back and sides. But this will come up beautiful. It's half a job cleaning it, you know, because once it starts to look good, you're more proud of it, you like it more. Wow, that looks brilliant. I mean, when the guy gets his back, it can look like more or less as much as it can like a new bass. But look at that. It's just getting all the crap off. It's like a kind of, I don't know, is it like Windowline type of affair, this stuff. Sort of dries on a bit. And look at that already, it's looking like a different guitar. If I fold this opposite way to get some dry. It does look like a new bass. So good now. And when you've been over with a dirty rag, come over with a clean one. When I give him his bass back, he'll think I've given him a wrong bass. Brilliant stuff. So that looks like a new guitar. Well, it doesn't look new, brand new, but it does look pretty good. I'm not going to bring the camera in any nearer, but I am going to just scrape some of the fingerboard just to show you the state of the fingerboard, and look, and there you go. You see all that stuff coming off here? That's dead skin and sweat. I shouldn't have to do this. You should do this before you bring it in, really. I have refused guitars before. That's 2 guitars. I mean 2 frets. That is, look at it. You can see it. You can see it. No words necessary. No words needed. I always like it when the client sees the videos later on going, I think that was that bad. Of course you didn't. This has probably been around for years and years and years, not being played, but when it was played, it's never had a fingerboard treatment before. There you go. That's another 3 or 4 frets. You can see it. You can see it there. It looks like bird shit. Look at that. I don't charge enough, do I, guys? Not so bad down this end, down the dustier end. So that's 12 frets worth there, and that is matter. Still got to polish the frets yet. I'm not levelling the frets. You know I'm doing a fret level for 40 quid or 60 quid's worth of setup. But I imagine we're going to go alright. I'm going to check them with a fret rocker, see if there are any high ones. If there's anything stupidly high, I will tap them in with a fret hammer. I don't think this has ever had oil on it before because this end has already absorbed all of the oil. Right, so that's that. I'll give her a proper clean in a bit. Let's just have a little wipe up and down. Then I'm going to put another coat of oil on it because I've got no frets yet. I've got a couple of things in the workshop on hold at the moment. I'm waiting for parts. I've had a load of gear in because I've only recently opened this workshop. I've only been open in this place 3 weeks. And I've been getting loads of stuff in and getting loads of stuff in and out. But some stuff has just ground to a halt slightly. That's okay. It's Saturday today. Been here about 4.5 hours so far. Saturday afternoon. About 3:15. But yeah, this job, wow, it's not a job you want to do regular, it's just, and we're not done yet. I've got to get another coat. You've seen it, there you go. Not pretty, is it? I should go angles, there was an actual piece of matter there. That's actual matter. Right, so, give it another spray. And while this is doing its thing, polish up the frets. Hoping I've got a fretboard guard wide enough for these frets, because these have got crap on them as well. But I actually don't know if I have one wide enough for these frets. Soon find out, won't we? They're not wide enough, I don't think. Let's see what we do have. If that's not wide enough, I don't have anything like that's just wide enough. Now I did take out some steel wool earlier. What have I done with it? Could be anywhere. It's here, found it. Some steel wool, super fine steel wool. Grade 0000. It's the finest stuff you can get. And under it, get a nice fat piece here. It's bundled up nice and tight. I'm going to pinch it over the fret, and we're just going to go straight over the top of the fret and pinch around the sides like so. And move the fret guard across, and we'll next one along. These have never been done. Let's bring one up this end and show you what we're doing. Fingerboard guard, because we don't want to go against the grain. Put it over the fret, and we're just going to polish over that fret. And move the guard, and there you go, nice clean polished fret. Again, really grubby one there. It really is that simple. This guitar wants as much of a clean as anything else. I've tested the truss rod, see if that's working. It is working, so we're going to be fine with the action and everything later. So I'm going to crack on, do a little bit more off camera, and I'll bring you back when there's something significant to show you again. It's really been a guitar I've worked on all day, and it is. We're coming up to, it's about 20 to 4. I've been here since 11. I've not really done anything else. I've just mainly worked on this. And I think you'll agree, it looks like a completely new bass. But I can't really do any more on it right now, because I'm just waiting for the new pots to arrive. I've got one in, because I have one in stock. I've put these little tags on just so I can pull this out, because it's really tight. So one pot is in. That's all fine, that's all wired in. So it'll be nice and easy when I get the other couple of pots. Not a lot of wiring to do. Scraped and cleaned the fingerboard, polished the frets. Tightened up the tuners. These were loose everywhere. Every nut and bolt and screw was loose on those. I've set the neck dead straight using the truss rod, obviously. 4mm truss rod adjuster in there. I've just glued the nut back on because that was loose. I've brought the pickups a little bit higher, so I'm just going to drop them back into the body a little bit, because they're going to be too high now. And that's good, because I've wiped all the dust off those as well. So the guitar's looking a lot better. I mean, it's by no means perfect. It's not going to be perfect. It's a 130 quid brand new, these things. It's an old one, and it's been neglected a little. And it's been stood doing nothing, and it's not really been cared for that brilliantly, to be honest with you. You can always tell when there's that much grime on the fingerboard. I've now also cleaned the bridge. I've sprayed under there with some compressed air, given that a wipe down. I'm just going to tighten up the strap pin at this end, because I knew that was loose. That's tight now, and we'll do this one, and that is every nut and bolt checked and tightened. So all I've really got to do with this is wire the new pots in, check the wire, get the wiring sorted out, get the strings back on. If we have the same strings, I didn't bring a spare set, and get it set up and get it playing. So not a great deal more to do. I'm just going to whiz across with a fret rocker just down the centre of the frets, just to see if we've got any high ones. That's a little bit high, but I'll tap back in. Straight down the centre on these. Not making a federal case of anything. And they are astoundingly, these are pretty level. In fact, they are level. That's brilliant. £130 bass look, and my frets are level. I have £3,000 guitars coming here sometimes and my frets aren't level. So which is the only one that felt like it was rocking? It was that fourth one there. And I'll just check them all again on the outside this time. So just number 4, that's it. Frets are bang on. Amazing, isn't it? You can buy something for 130 quid or maybe 150 quid, whatever it costs. It's a bit high on that side as well. So we've got frets 4, frets 10. Fret 4 and 10 need tapping in. But that's astonishing, isn't it? Cheap guitar like this and the frets are in better than some £3,000 guitars I have in this workshop. That is astonishing. The Stagg, well, that one's really high there at the end there. That is number 23. So we've got 4, 11 and 23, 4, 10 and 23 need tapping in. I'll put the camera on the guitar and I'll show you what I mean in a second. I'm going to leave it running. I'm going to scoot off to the other room, pick up my fretting hammer, and I'm going to tap these in. Fretting hammer. There you go. And I'm just going to tap these in with the nylon side. So I'm going to check this fret 4. This is high, rocking quite a lot there. And we're just gonna support this a little bit better underneath there. I need to get a new neck cradle because this is a bit tatty now, a bit tatty and a bit old. I'm going to go and get a new one in a minute, 11 one I think. So we're just going to check again, fret 4, really high there. And we're just going to take the fretting hammer and just knock this in. And all being well, now be seated better, and it is seated better. So a little bit tiny higher there, but that is seated a lot better. It's now not rocking. Check one back, check one forward, and that's good. Then we have fret 10 up here. Just on this side it was rocking a little bit. Let's knock that one in. It's a nylon side really, don't really need to use a metal side, so this has just popped out a little. And that's level now. And then we have one up here, I think it was 23. Number 23, a little bit high. Just on that outer edge there, and a little bit there. I don't think it's going to come up this end, but we're just going to knock that one in. Have a little check. And there you go, those frets are now level along the whole length of the fingerboard. That's fantastic. A little bit high on the 23rd, not like the last one was the 22nd, but that doesn't matter because it's a last fret, so just keep it tapping anyway. One more check for good measure. That's now level. And that's now level. We are beautiful. Oh, a bit high on this side now. Often if you tap one side in, the other side will pop out. There you go, I'm happy with all of that. That's fantastic. So we also have level frets. So just got to wait for the new pots to arrive, get them wired in. Once they're in, we'll get the strings back on and get it set up and it'll be good to go. Tell you what, you can't say favour and all this amount of work for 60 quid, can you? That's including the pots, by the way. So hello again, friends. I've got the new electrics in the base. I've put one string on so I could test it. So I've got 3 new alpha pots in there. You have got volume for this one there, volume for this one there, and tone for both there. We're getting sound out. Sounds all right actually. The input jack is still crackling a little bit, so I'm going to oink that back out. I'm going to reflow the solder on those connections. I may even just snip the wires a little bit because they are a little bit long in there, but the electrics are working fine. But other problems with the guitar. Certainly looks like that neck wants shimming because it is leaning forward. So we're going to put a shim in this end of the neck. It's definitely not sat right, so the action is way too high here. Fortunately, I do have some, I've been and bought some maple veneer, so it's not going to be a problem to put a shim in there. But for now, that is about it. So I'm going to redo the input jack, make sure that's all nice and clean. We're going to get the neck off and we're going to have a look at the neck pocket and see what the problem actually is there, and we should have this one done within the next hour. They are all working correctly now, albeit with one string on. I just re-soldered the jack socket, just stripped it back a bit, so the wires were wearing a little bit thin, so everything is working fine, so that's good for now. We're going to turn our attention to the action and the neck. It definitely needs a shim under this, at this end of the neck heel, so I'm going to get one made and we'll bang one in there. The plan, I will not be shimming the neck because there's one screw I cannot get out and the screw is already knackered, and that is this one here. It will not move at all. I can't get a good enough purchase on it, so it's going to stay as it is. I'm just going to set the neck dead straight and keep tightening the truss rod till we get as low an action as we possibly can. So with this, it's going to be kind of a make do kind of affair. We're not going to get this set up perfect, but we are going to get it pretty close. So I will do the very best that I can with this, but the neck is non-removable. I wish I'd known that when he bought it in, because I probably wouldn't have took the job on. But anyway, there you go. As set up to go, the height of the 12th fret is not terrible, but what I am doing to compensate for not being able to shim the neck is I am going to slightly tighten the truss rod because we've still got quite a bit of relief in there. So with a 4mm adjuster, just going to turn that, and that's about as much as it will go. And that is more or less dead straight now, that neck. But with the frets level, we're not getting any buzz anywhere. That's as straight as I can get the neck. There's a tiny bit of relief in there. Nothing to write home about, but it's brought the action right down. Nice and low to the 12th fret, and I dare say we're looking for an action of about 3mm. We're probably a little bit under there, and that is very, very good indeed. So just have a quick measure. Oh, we're way lower than 3mm, way lower. We're down to 2mm there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly slacken off that truss rod. How fabulous is that? Not going to alter anything at the bridge just yet. I am going to set the radius at the bridge. I'm going to turn that back a quarter turn on the truss rod and measure again. So I've gone back a quarter turn on the truss rod there. I've still got to set the radius up at the bridge end. So that action is now about 2.7 at the 12th fret, which is brilliant. I've just got it plugged in the tuner at the minute. And that's pretty good. Not bad at all, not bad. I've got the action down to about 2.6mm at 12th fret, and that's just by altering the truss rod. We still have a little bit of relief in there, so that's wonderful. The only thing we've really got to do on this now is we need to set the intonation and set the radius up at the bridge end now. This side I'm happy with, that far side I've not measured yet. I'm just going to measure. If we get down to about 2mm on the far side there, and that's currently at just over 2.5. So we need to drop that one down, just keeping this one where it is at 2.6, and then we're going to set the radius. So I may as well keep the camera running. It's more or less tuned in. The action's great. It's playing quite nice. These are really nice basses. I used to own one of these. So what I need to do is lower the saddles. That's the one. I do have a set of Allen keys here. Again, I've not prepared anything before I turn the camera on. That buzzing you can hear at the moment is the tuner. I've got a rack tuner in there and it does buzz. So the electrics in here are not brilliant. But so let's just grab an Allen key from here. I dare say that's going to be about 1.5mm. And all I'm going to do is, if it's the right one, which it is, Just drop these down a little. That's as low as it can go. Might be as low as it can go. If it is, well, that's what where we're going to have to set it. A little bit grubby in here. I don't think these have been cleaned. What can I see there? Not a deal. Just about as low as it will go, that one. So we're going to have to set the action at 2.5. We don't have a choice. Have no choice at all. So I'm going to bring the A and the D string up higher than they need to be. I've also not checked the intonation yet. I suppose I ought to look at the intonation first, didn't I? We'll just bring these strings higher than they need to be. Again, a lot of crap in these screw holes in here. It's not been particularly well looked after, but nothing I can do about that. So that's more or less in tune. I'm just going to measure these strings again at the 12th fret. Can't do anything about the action anyway because the tuners are as low as they'll go. With 275 on the bass and with 275 on the treble, but I can't do anything about it. I could slightly just put a little bit more tension on the truss rod. If I give it another bit of a turn, we'll bring that action down just a little bit. If that goes into the and that's as much as I'm going to go. I don't know what the radius is on this neck. We've certainly made this bass playable. Let's just try the right. We're mega sharp on the G, sharp on the D, flat on the A, just about perfect on the E. So with the A being flat, I'm going to move the saddle towards fingerboard. If it will let me. Not the strings that tight, it won't. Looks like the screws want to turn, but this one doesn't. Bring the D and the G closer to me. Not that screwdriver, I'm not. Because these are sharp, we need to bring the saddle toward the bridge, or to the right as I look at it. I don't know if this one's going to move anywhere. Now it's a very well neglected bass, this. I'm going to get these close. I'm not going to go bang on because I'm going to keep loosening and tightening the strings and it's a pain. So I'll get them as close as I can. Right, I'm going to switch the camera off a bit. We'll get this all set. When it's set, I'll bring you back in. Got all done with this bass fret, friends, and it's set up as well as I can set it up. One screw in the neck will not come out, so I couldn't take the neck off. I would have liked to take the neck off and maybe shim the neck just at this end a little bit with an half a millimetre high shim. But I've compensated by setting the radius and the intonation on the saddles, tightening the truss rod up. Also for that reason, because we've got the neck straighter, I'm not cutting the nut slots, I'm leaving them where they are. But the base is now all working, it's looking the part, I've cleaned it up, it looks fabulous. So yeah, it makes a noise, it certainly looks the part, so let's remind ourselves of what we've done with this. So it came in, it was filthy for one, the action was all wrong, the pickups weren't working, the electrics were all gone. I've replaced all the electrics, I've used alpha pots, these are the old ones, got 3 brand new alpha pots in there, a new, all new wiring in there. We also had a problem with a jack, we've fixed a problem with a jack. I've levelled the frets, I've treated the fingerboard, I've done a full and complete setup. All the tuners have been tightened up and checked. Every nut and bolt on here has been tightened and checked. The tuners were all loose, so it's had before work. So the only thing I couldn't do was remove that screw. So everything else has been tightened and checked, strap pins, what have you. So normally this will cost you 95 quid for the amount of work and the amount of time I've put into this. I'm charging him 65 quid. In effect, I'm not really charging him for doing the electrics, and so on and so forth. But you know, value for money. So look at that, it certainly looks a lot better than when it came in. It's lovely and clean, it's perfectly set up, perfectly balanced, it plays, and it plays well. I actually owned one of these, so that is it. So this one is all done. So I'm going to ring the guy, let him know it's ready to pick up. He'll probably pick it up tomorrow. You could possibly pick it up today. We're not too late at the moment. We are 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but that is it till the next one. So before I go, just remind you my website, facebook.com/ng17 is the best place. So facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I am Victor, I am your fret friend. Until the next time, as always, God bless you. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time.